Okay, so we've just been going through the splash screen that appears when the volunteer registers before they land on this page. It's a little splash screen that gives them information about kind of what to expect next. You can change that splash screen, just like a window. When I say splash screen, like a window that appears. You can change that splash screen by going into the super admin menu, down to setup, new registration page. Okay, and there it is down there. Okay, so you can just change it here. Click on save. If you click reset, it's going to set it back to this text in this image here. Okay, has anyone got any questions about that?
No.
Nope. Good. Anyone find it useful, you think?
Yeah, I think it will be.
I think it will be, yeah. Quite a few customers say, well, they're not sure. Volunteers are not sure what to do next, especially like the more senior volunteers, not sure what to do next once they've registered. You know, there's a search button there, they can click it. Sometimes people just don't know. They need to kind of have their hands held. So something like that, you can say exactly what you want them to do next. So yeah, it's a good thing. Okay, next one is creating new opportunities. So when you create a new opportunity, this is made much simpler as well. This is a good update. So if I said opportunity, Steve 5, let's call it that. You put in the description. Everything looks pretty similar here to what you saw before. Yeah. Benefits and perks, skills required. Hey ho, right at the bottom of the page here, because what it does, it's broken down that create opportunities page into different steps, different pages essentially. Okay. Now, there's a couple of things here that it allows them to do. First of all, it makes it more manageable in terms of it's just not a whole page full of 50 questions, which can be quite daunting for providers in particular. Secondly, it allows you to save a draft as you go through. So if you go through sort of halfway through the form and you decide you got to go make a cup of tea or you got to go to a meeting, then it will save what you've done there as a draft opportunity, so you can go back into it and complete it at a later date, which is obviously very useful. And thirdly, by breaking it down into pages, it allows us to kind of skip over huge chunks of that create opportunities page, depending on what you've said. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. So put the basic information there, scrolls across to the next page where you might choose an image for the opportunity. Okay, you might choose an opportunity badge, which I'll come on to in a bit if you're not sure what they are. Then you pick the location. Is it at home or is it a definite location? At home is quite straightforward, I think. Everyone can understand that. Pick a location has changed. It's changed a little. So rather than putting in a postcode and kind of moving it around on the map and then having this option of saying, oh, it's across a wide area, then explaining what that wide area is, you can just do it now all with this, just by typing in where the opportunity is taking place. So what I mean by that is if it was taking place in an exact location, so say if I put in 25 Temple Road Sale, right, that's an exact location. Okay. Now if I put in Sale, it's not an exact location, so it changes the icon here. You have selected a large area for this opportunity location, which we have indicated on the map. If this is not correct, try typing a more specific address or location. So that's how you can deal with covering areas like this. Well, they can do this anywhere in Liverpool or anywhere in London, or that's how you can do that. You just type in the name. If it's the whole of Manchester, then put in the whole of Manchester. Okay. If it's a specific address, put in the postcode or the exact address. Okay. Any questions over this area here? Good. I can't hear anything, so I can't see your faces. Assume that's good. Travel information, normal kind of 51 bus. Parking available around here. Okay. I want to use beta site. So this is a new kind of stage here where we are separating the people who want to create a fully managed opportunity as the normal opportunity with all the kind of questions. So volunteers are going to be joining the opportunity. There may be restrictions in place, only preventing some of them getting onto it. Once they're on the opportunity, you might ask them for a reference form or and you're going to store that details, store those volunteers' details with their logged hours and all that kind of stuff within the TeamKinetic system. That's all this one. That's your normal opportunity that you're used to. Just create a self-managed opportunity. This is if you are simply using your TeamKinetic system as a recruitment tool. So maybe they have their own volunteer system. Maybe they just want a list of names of people who are interested with their email addresses. Maybe that's all they care about. But it's a really cut down version, create self-managed opportunity. And when they go to the opportunities page for a self-managed opportunity, the options are massively reduced. So, if you go into an opportunity now, you've got down the left-hand side, you've got all those different options about restrictions and promoting and all this kind of stuff. With this one here, there wouldn't be. It's really cut down to the absolute minimum. Okay, so just using this tool as a recruitment, or I'm doing everything within TeamKinetic. I'm fully managing them. So if you click on the fully managed opportunity, then it says about application. What's the application process? Does it include a role? Do they need to apply first, or is it a join or apply first? Asking for experience, references, all that kind of stuff. Customize email. Now, I'd say at this stage here, like every question that was in the original Create Opportunities page is in the new version. There's no missing question. There's nothing that we've taken away. Okay, so if you're worried about that, you don't have to. Click on the next. Do you want to allow everyone to access this opportunity? So this is one of the things I was mentioning before about how it's a way of massively simplifying it for the person who's creating the opportunity, because the vast majority do. They'd say, yeah, I do want everyone to be able to access this opportunity. And they click yes, and it forgets about all the restriction options. If you say, oh, no, I don't actually, I want specifically people who are over the age of, 21, then you can go in there and do the restrictions. Only by clicking no do we see these restrictions. Are expenses payable on this opportunity? Now, obviously, if you say yes, you've got this managed expenses here, because those of you who are not aware, you can actually process all your expense claims through the TeamKinetic system, where it will ask the volunteer for their sort code and account number, and they can upload their receipts and the rest of it, and you can pay them through expenses page down here. I'm just going to say no to that at the moment. Promoting and sharing. Okay, hide the opportunity from search results and make secret. So you've seen all these options before, I'm sure. Link it to an event. If you're part of a link-wide network, you can share it with a link-wide network. Opportunity documents. So these are upload a document for join volunteers to download. Okay, so you saw this option before, I'm sure, on the old page. So this is like a health and safety form you want them to complete. The next one is allow volunteers to upload files back onto the opportunity, like a completed health and safety form or photos they took on the day, kind of thing. And we've got surveys over here as well. So that's on your post opportunity options. And then we get to the final stage, which is usually at the bottom of the page, which is sessions and flexible. Okay, and click on whatever it is, sessions, put a date, 10th. Create the opportunity. Boom, that's it. Got the opportunity on there with all the sessions. Okay, is there any questions over that new page? No?
Yeah, Steve, sorry, I have one.
Yep.
With the expenses, if they are paying expenses, but we can't do it through the system, so the external provider is creating obviously the opportunity, and they click yes. Do they have to complete all the rest of it or can they just kind of skip the other part where it has to go through TeamKinetic to do the expenses?
So you're saying there's two questions on that expenses one. The first one says, "Are you paying are you paying expenses?" And that was a yes/no question on the page. And the second one was, "Is this a managed expense?" So is it a managed expense? Is when they're doing it through the system.
Right.
If they are paying expenses, and you're right, they might say, "Yeah, we pay 45 pence a mile, but we're not doing it through the system. We take care of it ourselves." So they can do that. But it's the managed expenses if they want to do it through the system. Okay. And it would only make sense, like I say, because the managed expense, the person who processes it is the administrator. So it's not going to make sense for volunteer centres that manage expense stuff. No. It's only going to make sense, yeah, for the people like YHA or people where all the providers, all the admins and providers all work for the same organization. One of those functions. Okay, so that is link-wide groups. What's the next thing? Oh yeah, that's right. So you can be linked to other systems. Okay, and you can see if you ever go to opportunities and providers down to shared opportunities, this system here is not linked. You are not currently linked to a link-wide group, but it shows all systems within the area you could potentially click on and contact that administrator and potentially link up with. The benefit behind linking up with another system is you can share opportunities between each other. So you quite often will find a local authority who will be linked up to universities in the area. That means that the universities, when the students go on the university system and they search for opportunities, they'll be able to see opportunities that are being promoted by the local authority on their local authority system. Okay, as long as they're all TeamKinetic systems, obviously. So that's the benefit. It's sharing opportunities, getting more volunteers' eyes on opportunities, I suppose. How do you see it? So once you're actually joined up with another system, so if you wanted to, you just got to speak to them. We have to receive an email from yourself and the administrator of the other system saying that you want to link up. We'd say fine, then we'd link it up. There's a couple of things about how you might want to be linked up. It's not just a case of saying yes, we want to be linked up, because you might say, like for the university system, the opportunities that they create in the university system, they would never want to appear on the local authority system. It's like a one-way. They've got like a one-way feed. They're accepting opportunities from the local authority, but then the local authority is not accepting opportunities from the university system. We kind of set that up when we do the link. Yeah, okay. So that is your link-wide groups. Now, the big update in the link-wide groups is the ability to link to multiple systems. Okay, so you can link to link to multiple groups. So I might be a local authority. I might have one group which is a universities group, and then I might have another group which is I'm not sure, maybe it's like a volunteer centre group or something like that. And they can share the opportunity to those different groups, and they may have different rules. Like the universities might have an inbound only rule, as I mentioned before, where they only want to receive opportunities from the volunteer from the local authority. But then the volunteer centre, they want a two-way link, so both the volunteer centre and the local authority are both sharing their opportunities. So that was something it was kind of limited before to only being linked to one group, and now you can be linked to multiple groups. Is there any questions over that? No. Good. Custom date fields. Okay, so when you create in custom fields, you can add one in here, add a question. You say it's a volunteer registration question, and you might say, I don't know, date, not birth date. What would I say? Something like, what's the kind of date that you have to remember? I don't know. Father's date of birth, just randomly, just something that requires a date. Now, obviously, that'd be a very strange one to ask, but and you can choose date down here now. Okay. And then that would add it. So when the volunteer is filling out the registration form, they get to that question and it will come up with a calendar and let them put in a date. Now that becomes useful when you've got things like date of graduation. So all in university systems where they have a field which says date of graduation, which means that they then can search for volunteers, say, show me every volunteer where the date of graduation down here, where is it? Down the bottom here, date of graduation is after, after or before? It's after the date of the academic year. So the point I'm trying to make is you can highlight, then you can find out exactly who's graduated, and then you could say, okay, I'm going to select all now, and I'm going to email them, or I'm going to change their status to remove an access from them, so they can't log into the system because they're no longer students at the university. So that's one example of how you could use that. Okay, so custom. Any questions over that? Good. Okay, next we've got new providers reports. So when you are logged in as a provider, let me impersonate one quickly. Providers now have the day schedule report. Okay, so the day schedule report is kind of a snapshot of what's happening usually in the next 7 days. I mean, it doesn't have to be the 7 days, it's just what these dates happen to default to. But it's going to show all the opportunities, not any one particular opportunity, but all the opportunities and how many people are on them, how many spaces are still available, yada, yada, yada. So that has been very popular with administrators, so I'm sure it's going to be popular with your providers as well. We've also got the maps function here, which allows the providers to kind of map all of their volunteers. Okay, see where their volunteers come from. They're all over here somewhere. Yeah, they are. Okay. You know, so as I said, when the provider's looking at any reports, it's always about their volunteers who are linked to them, and about their opportunities. So all this stuff is related to the provider who's logged in. Is there any questions over that? Good. Can filter providers by custom fields. Yep, so when you're logged in as admin and you go down to providers, now you can filter by these custom fields. Any custom field you set up for the providers down here. Opportunity badges. Does anyone know what an opportunity badge is? Anyone heard me chat about it in the past?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Give us your best version. What do you reckon, Carrie?
So you can apply badges to your opportunities to highlight them to volunteers. So say if it's a student friendly, or they're doing a particular volunteers looking for an opportunity that for their DV, you can apply that badge to your opportunity to highlight that to a volunteer.
Exactly that. Very well explained. Thank you. So there's one here. So imagine they're scrolling down the page here, looking at opportunities. You may want to visually kind of identify certain opportunities, like Duke of Edinburgh Award, so the volunteer doesn't have to click into it to see whether it's, you know, whether it can be used for Duke of Edinburgh. And you can do that by attaching these badges. There's a DOV badge attached down there. You can define, you know, you can upload these badges. They don't have to be DOV. It could be literally anything you want. The way you set up these opportunity badges is via the super admin menu, because obviously it's a setup, as a configuration thing. Go to setup and go to opportunity badges down here. And then we got a list of, and these are just badges we happen to have set up on the test system. You don't have to use these. If you do want to use these, and you log into the test system, and you can right click and save the image and use it and steal it if you want. We're quite happy for you to do that. But these are the badges here. And once you've defined what badges are available, when you create the opportunity, you probably saw there was a step, I think it was the second step when you're creating the opportunity, where you chose the image for the opportunity and you selected which badges you wanted to be linked to that opportunity. Okay. Any questions over that? No. Good. Okay. Max volunteers per session adjustments. Yeah. So when you've got an opportunity with lots of sessions on it, like I'm on here. I want one with sessions now. Second. Sessions I do. Okay, you click on your sessions here. That's great. You've got all your sessions down there. Nice little icon now saying whether it's empty or whether there's slots available, just to make it easy at a glance for you. Worked exactly the same way as before. Differences is edit global maxims. It's what we found there was an issue with some people who said, well, actually, I want to change the maximum number of volunteers. I've set this up, but it shouldn't have been 10. It should have been 8. So they have to save that. Then have to go to each session and do that same thing. Edit 8, save, edit 8, save, where you can just edit the global maxims here now, and you can just specify whether maximum volunteers per session or maximum sessions per volunteer in here, and it will apply it. When you save it, it'll apply it to all of the sessions. It's a bit of a time-saving tool there. Any questions over that?
The question is sort of related to this.
Okay.
If you started off with a volunteer like an opportunity that's flexible because you're not sure when they're going to do it because it's dependent on the volunteer's availability, and then when you get all that sorted, can you change it to be sessional?
You can only change them when there's no volunteers on it. The reason being is because if you have them on a flexible opportunity, then you change it to session based. What session does it put them on? Where there's nowhere for them to be held.
Oh, so you can't just change it to session and then put the session.
what I would do in that scenario is, so say they're on a flexible opportunity. Let's show you now. There was on a flexible opportunity. Find one on here. Okay. 1 second. In the middle of testing that one. Very good. Flexible. There we go. So if I'm on a flexible opportunity here,
Okay.
of course there's no volunteers on it, is there? If I'm on a flexible opportunity here, let me put a volunteer on it. So I've got a volunteer on it now. And you say, okay, but actually it's kind of a rota system. I know this person's joined it, but now I know it's a rota system and there's actual definite session dates. What I would do then is, because you can't convert it, when you go down to convert and copy, it's not going to let you convert. And I would just trust me on this. When you click on it, it will tell you won't be able to do it. And the reason you can't do it is because the volunteer's already on it. It doesn't know what session to put them on. So the thing to do would be to copy the opportunity. Okay, so you've got an empty opportunity then, which is identical in every way, apart from the fact it's got no volunteers on it. Then you can convert that to the regular session-based opportunity and put in your sessions. And then you've got one flexible opportunity with a person on it. Then you've got a session-based opportunity with all your sessions set up then, and then you just add the person in, because then you can manually add the person into the sessions that you want on that new opportunity.
And then, but you'd lose all the previous hours, wouldn't you? That had been put in.
Yeah. Were you saying that? Sorry, you're saying that they would have logged hours on that flexible?
Yeah, if they'd logged hours and then you wanted to change it, then
you wouldn't
it's
lose.
okay if it is. It's just so I know.
You wouldn't lose it, because that existing opportunity would still exist.
Okay.
As long as you don't go in and delete that existing opportunity, as long as you just leave that, leave it in the system, it's fine. You'll still have all the logged hours against that existing opportunity. But then you would have manually added the volunteer onto the session-based opportunity, which means when they go ahead and carry on logging on that new opportunity, which is with all the rota system, the session set up, then it will continue logging it against there. But they won't be together. You're right. I mean, they'll be separate logged hours against two different opportunities using that scenario.
No, thank you.
No worries. Any other questions about that? Nope. Okey-doke. Next one is, when you're logged in as admin, we have this little person in the top right hand corner now. So we have super admin menu, help, notifications, and then your account button here. Your account button, where you can view your profile. This is you as a user, essentially. View your profile information, change your password over, this, that, and the other. And we're going to be expanding on this, showing certain things like how things are visually displayed to you when you log in as this user. We're going to be expanding some of this. We're going to into areas, kind of showing what areas of the TeamKinetic system you've trained on and things like that as well. So you'll see extra options appearing here in the future updates. But that's your account button, and you can log out there as well, obviously. Automated emails. We've got some additional automated emails. So when we've got all these different automated emails in here, okay, which gets sent out automatically when a volunteer registers or when a volunteer joins an opportunity, and each one of these is for a different action, essentially, that the volunteer does, and it will send them an email. We have additional automated emails set up for when an opportunity is ending. It will email the provider and tell them, by the way, it ends in 3 weeks, this opportunity. Do you want to add some more sessions to it, or do you want to extend the end date of this flexible opportunity? Also, automated emails about login hours. So it will automatically send an email to providers prompting them to log hours, or volunteers prompting them to log hours. And also complete the survey emails. So if you add a survey to an opportunity and the volunteer, although they get prompted to complete the survey when they go to log their hours, if they choose, if they choose not to, they ignore that, it will actually send them an email as well, asking them again, do you mind completing the survey? Admin panel enhancements. So when you log in, you see these boxes in the middle. They're called panels on there, called things happening today, which is a new one that's been added. Okay. Opportunities for authorization, providers waiting for access. So we've got a new panel that's been added here, and also these panels look at the setup of your system, and they won't show you panels if we know it's not useful for you. So for example, if you set your opportunities to automatically be authorized, then there's no point having a panel which says opportunities for authorization, because they're all going to be authorized because they're automatically authorized at the point of you creating them. So that's a scenario there where it would just hide this panel from you. So you're only seeing panels that are relevant to you. And then we've got our hints and tips at the top here. So when you log in, you're going to start seeing some hints and tips, things that we know, questions that people ask us these certain questions quite frequently. So we'll put them in up there, or things we think actually a lot of people don't know about this particular function. You'll see them up there, and you can close them. You can hide them for 30 days or hide forever if you're not interested with them at all. And yes, and that is there's other updates in there. There's probably about 200 to be fair, but you know, the vast majority of them are just minor, but they're the kind of the larger things that you're definitely going to notice. Is there any questions over any of those I went through?
Would you be able to show us the quick op, Steve?
You mean the one that
creating the quick op, just to show us what it looks like.
Okay, I can show you. So when you're creating the opportunity, so you put in the opportunity name, description.
You're not on share now, Steve.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Thank you for telling me that. Okay, so I've gone to create opportunities page, opportunity name, description, put in the images. There's your badges, as mentioned before. Pick the location, say it's from home. You're talking about this here, create the self-managed opportunity. So if they click on this, all they get is the name of the provider, which will be in there, but they may want to change it. They might call themselves something as a provider on your system, but their actual organization name might be something slightly different. So that's why that's shown. But by default, it will just show the name of them as a provider in there. When do you want to advertise it until? 1st of the 1st, 2023. Is there any website? There might be like a website, you know, their volunteer system that they're using, or maybe it's a web page they've got about, you know, to recruit volunteers, you know, specifically built into their website, whatever it is, they put it in there. And then they create the opportunity. And that's it. I know is working on this page, which is why I didn't go through and demo it to you. It's just changing a couple of bits in it. But that's it essentially. And then it just drop you on the opportunities page, the stripped down opportunities page. But you'll see that over this weekend probably when he's finished editing it. Is there any other questions or any questions about that? Sure about. No? It's quite straightforward, wasn't it? Oh, good. Well, if there's no other questions, then I shall love you and leave you. And yeah. Have a nice weekend. And like I say, if you want to have a play around with it, what I've just been through there, you just go onto the beta system, beta.teamkinetic.co.uk. I'll put it in I'll put the admin login link in the meeting for you. And you can just log in using your normal admin login details. You go to that site, I put in the conversation there, log in using your normal login details, and it recognizes that you're a customer, and it will let you see exactly what I was doing before. So you'll have be able to play around with the new version before it's released on Sunday. Okay, so don't forget the splash screens. Key thing, look at the splash screens. Is there anything else that you should definitely be looking at? Splash? No, I think that's it. I think the only key one is the splash screens. Maybe if you're interested, take a look at them opportunities, opportunity badges as well. Find them interesting. Okay, well, I shall love you and leave you. See you later then, people. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.